The following program deals with a controversial subject. The theories expressed are not the only possible interpretation.
The viewer is invited to make a judgment based on all available information.
Every Friday feels like more and more like we're getting back into the swing of things, seeing some what we should be seeing on the Hot 10 list every week, right? Seeing the hot new books. We kind of had a period of time where it didn't feel like that, but boy, is it full of recent issues the last couple weeks, man. So thank you for everybody hanging out with us. 10/13 was the prediction, and you missed it.
No, dead on.
Dead on? Oh my gosh.
Dead on.
Oh
dead
my gosh.
on.
Gotta love it. You gotta love it. 64 live waiting for us. We appreciate you guys. I want to give a real big congratulations to the crew over at Nearing Nerdvana for their 2-year anniversary. Very, very cool. Make sure you guys go sub them up. Great bunch of people over there doing amazing content. And we got a soft spot in our hearts for them. So make sure you guys go check them out. We love them. And lots of fun stuff to go through this week on the show. Of course, I've got Ben Stein and Richie from Popcorn Culture. What's going on, gents? How you doing?
It's all good. It's freezing cold right now, but next week it's going to be in the mid-70s here. It's going to feel like spring finally. So we're all good.
Not bad, man. That's not bad at all. It's getting hot out here. Richie, what about you? Is it getting hot?
Starting to warm up, yeah. With Santa Ana's, we're in there today, but still cold at night. I think last night was the first night where I actually didn't have a blanket, but I've been sick to my stomach since Wednesday. I've already emailed them 3 times, Panini. I'm trying to process this and trying to spin something positive out of this, but I can't figure out.
Yeah,
I'm not Rumpelstiltskin, this motherfucker. So excuse my language. So I'll be honest, I'm pissed. It was hard for me to go on Wednesday night. I even put something on the community tab. I felt like throwing up. It was sickening.
For people that don't know, go watch Wednesday night's show on Beyond Wednesdays, where Richie opens his supposed to be a 1-of-1 LaMelo Ball autograph, and
or 1 in 10,
or a 1 in 10, and it kind of didn't happen that way, and it was such a letdown, such a bummer. But we'll see what happens. We're going to continue to push the issue and see if maybe something can happen out of it, and maybe they throw you some goodies or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm thinking what's worst case scenario? We can add this to the drama alert segment, on our shows and follow up on it. So.
Yeah, amen. Speaking of the drama alert segment, for those of you guys that didn't see that, I've been getting calls and messages all week ever since that episode. Shout out to Billy over at Economics and Comics, who hit me up and was really worried about it. He reached out to Image. I know a lot of other people reached out to Image. Had a few other content creators hit me up, a few retailers. It's very interesting to see how this is all going to play out over the C2E2 8 billion genies debacle. I have sent a message out to Ryan Brown to see if maybe he's willing to come on the show just to, talk about it from his side. I don't want to make the guy look like a bad guy if he's not. It sounds like a practice that has been going on for a while over at Image, that being that Image gives their creators the chance to print extra books, extra copies of books and whatnot. So we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting. Make sure you guys come hang out with us tomorrow night on Modern Comic Mayhem over at Beyond Wednesdays. So
is C2E2 just now the mecca of controversy?
It feels like
every
it, right?
year.
It's funny you say that. A lot of people have been saying that all week.
Yeah, it definitely feels like it for sure.
Well, man, I totally missed the memo. Then I should have been putting way more C2E2 books on the list, right?
Yeah, I think,
Gosh, totally jacked that up, man.
we'll figure it out. But all right, 106 live, you guys. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. Something that we want to start pushing a little bit is hitting those thumbs up and subscribing if you're not subscribed, you guys. For all of our channels, we would really appreciate it that if you enjoy this content and you're looking for more great collectibles and comic book content, subscribe. Sub up to Popcorn Culture, sub up to House of Stein, sub up to Beyond Wednesdays. We'd really appreciate it, and appreciate the likes if you like it. It helps us out a ton in the algorithm and gets our content out to more people. So,
Hey, and I'll just keep giving more free stuff away. Every time we hit like a milestone, once we get to 2,000, I'll give stuff away. Once we hit 2,500, we'll give stuff away. So if you guys want free stuff, that's the best way to do it. All you gotta do is click a button.
Amen.
It doesn't cost anything. It's free.
Amen. Amen. So, all right, we've got some interesting stuff to go through this week. We're going to start off with our new segment that I haven't got the intro for, but I've got some new art for. That being our favorite new segment. That is Ouch by the Dip, brought to you by our favorite Popcorn Culture. Let's get into it. Starting off with an interesting one that people made a lot of money off of a few years ago. Daredevil #9, the first appearance of Echo.
Yeah.
You guys are the best. Richie, get better.
Amen. Amen.
Thanks, Kal-El. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Kal-El. Just call Panini up for me and I'll be much better.
Amen.
Yeah, this one, they're still going through with the Echo show, right?
Yes.
Yeah. It's supposed to connect into the Born Again, the Daredevil Born Again series, and then there's so much stuff just based on what we're seeing with leaks that is going to make that Netflix stuff canon, MCU canon supposedly. So should tie in.
Man. And this one just keeps going down and down and down. So much so that a CGC 9.6, now granted it's not a 9.8, but it is a 9.6 of this, sold for $60 this week. $60.
Wow.
It just seems really. I think I would, if I saw it for $60, I would have probably bought it and at least maybe tried to crack and press it to a 9.8. But even if it's still a 9.6, if there was it was like a legit 9.6, $60 just seems way cheap, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, big time. And I'm not the best presser. By any means. I'm pretty picky. My eyes are starting to get bad, because I'm old and gray and grumpy. But yeah, long story short, yeah, more Pepto for Richie. Thank you, Chad. I appreciate that.
Much love, Chad. Much love, Chad.
Yeah, but every time I buy a 9.6, I'd say probably at least 3 out of 5 times, 3.5 out of 5 times. So we'll say 7 out of 10 times. Whoever pressed it did a shitty job, or it wasn't pressed. A lot of people send books in, brand new books, or books that are modern, 2000. Let's say 2008 to current, and they don't press them. I noticed that. So yeah.
Well, one of the things that I've been hearing lately is that pressing is being looked at more and more every day by grading companies, and I don't know what that means. I don't know if that necessarily means that they're looking for pressing happening on books, if they're looking for new issues that are brought about by pressing, if they are grading those books that they think are pressed on a tighter scale. I don't know, but a lot of people are a little worried about grading pressed books.
Which is really weird since they're the one since they're pressing them as well. That's kind of weird.
That's why it's kind of it's kind of like a when you bring that up, it's tough to word that out because I'll just allude to what Brian was saying. Like, as a presser, I always had this thought in my head, hey, you want to send in the books to make it look like it wasn't pressed.
Yeah.
Right. You want to make it look like, no, let me take that back. You want to make it look perfect, but you don't want to show signs of the press. Right. So, and don't get that confused. I'm not saying that they're cracking down on pressing because, like Ben says, CCS does the pressing. But I will tell you this: there has been some changes in the grading department. A lot of you guys already know this, but they're using a software at the big of the three. I know that for a lot of the modern, if not all the modern books, and all the way up to bronze, I believe bronze age. I don't think they're doing it with silver, but there's a new technique that came out by a really popular presser. I'm not going to say what the technique is or anything. A lot of you guys know, but it's really it's taboo to talk about in pressing circles and or in collectors circles. And what they're looking for is they're trying to detect hydrogen peroxide or not lemon, but solution with distilled water, so on and so forth. And there's new techniques that they were probably out for a while. These new techniques that just came out, like I said, I'm not going to tell you what they are, that is almost 99% undetectable. So they're cracking down on it. So yeah, it's a lot going on over there.
Very interesting. All right, next book on Ouch by the Dip. A book that we've talked about recently, Invincible Iron Man #9, the Age of Apocalypse variant, or Horsemen of the Apocalypse variant. A book that was just ridiculously expensive for the longest time for the wrong reasons, I feel like. But now it's starting to drop, and you can pick one up for how much, Stein?
This week, I think, let's see here. 9.8 sold for $1,300, and a 9.6 sold for $360.
Wow.
Wasn't that book like $3,000 at one time?
At least. Yeah. And well, just to put it in context, with that 9.6 selling for $360, a 7.5, a CGC 7.5 sold for $300 in December. And a 9.6 sold this week for $360.
Unbelievable. A lot of stuff dropping. People are really worried in the card market right now because we're seeing big drops across the board on cards that were breaking records, a year ago. And, we've been seeing it for a while in comics. And some of the books that we were so, blown away that they are still holding value are now starting to drop, this being one of them.
Yeah, the Riri stuff is all down for sure. I honestly, I didn't think she was bad in.
I thought she was really good too. Yeah, I liked
in Wakanda. So I don't know. I'm very confused by it, to be honest. Like I didn't even hate her character at all in the movie. So why is it dropping into oblivion now after she did a good job and she's gonna be continuing? It's so confusing to me, but that's not surprising, right?
Yeah.
Everything confuses me.
Yeah. We know that, and so does all the viewers. So that being said, it's okay though. It's okay. We love you anyways. Well, is this a book that you go out and you maybe pick up?
I still wouldn't buy this one because
No.
I still think it's not a first appearance. So this one still bothers me. The fact, because this book was basically, the price was run up on this by certain people initially. So this one never should have been that high to start with. So I'm not even mad that this one has come way, way down because it should have never been there.
Yeah,
7 was always the book.
Feels like these convoluted first, especially if there's like a third or fourth cover, and if newbies are here, and let's say the season collectors that don't have deep pockets right now are pulling back, they might not even know about this cover.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Well, it's interesting, man. That's for sure. All right. Next on the list for Buy the Dip. Was this the right book, Stein? Captain America
It
number
is.
41?
Okay, yeah, it's so yeah.
What?
Okay. Okay, so this is so weird. All right. So this is not a key. This is from the Brubaker run. So it is, I mean, it's actually a pretty cool cover as well. I mean, I really like the cover. Um but the sale was so low that I just had to point it out that this is why you should honestly be looking at auctions that start like at $1. This a CGC 9.8 of this book. Again, it's not necessarily a key, but a CGC 9.8 sold for $7.
Oh wow.
$7. And this is what, a $3 cover price. So you basically paid just slightly over cover price for a CGC 9.8 of this.
Wow.
I've seen a
Holy-
newsstand on this run.
Was
I
it
don't
an
know about this.
auction?
Yeah, it was in an auction. And I don't know. See, this is the thing is, like a book like this, okay, I get that it's not, it's not like a $75 book. I'm totally aware of that. But it's also not a $7 book that's already graded as a 9.8.
9.8, yeah.
For somebody trying to put like together a really cool Captain America run, why would you start this at $1? I mean, I don't even know why you would even consider doing that. But
Yeah.
it's just so confusing. But that's why I had to put it on there. I was like, just to make sure you guys are watching auctions.
Yep.
Just watch some of these auctions. If they're starting really low, set a reminder on it and check back. I mean, by the time it actually gets to where it's almost, I mean, you could have stole this for $7. I mean, come on.
Wow. That's crazy, man. I would
Yeah.
getting
Go ahead,
a graded book for $7, dude, especially 9.8. Holy cow.
And Epting and Brubaker too. So I could totally see, I know Brian's a big Brubaker fan, so I could see somebody, especially when Epting and Brubaker all through the Winter Soldier and these next runs want to collect 9.8s of all these, So that's a steal.
Yeah. Next, we've got two more, you guys, and I hope this is the right book too. Right? Is this it? I got it.
Look at you go.
Look at
You're
me,
on
man.
fire.
I know, dude. It's amazing stuff, isn't it? Michael Turner presents Aspen #1 in CGC 9.8.
Yeah, this is another one that, first of all, I mean, if you love Turner, you kind of like want, even his Aspen covers, you kind of want them. Even if they're like this one, I don't think is like great by any stretch, but it is a #1. I don't really know what this actually is. This is from 2003 maybe or something. I don't it's not new by it's old. But again, a CGC 9.8 of this sold for $15. And it's like, I don't know. It's another one of these things that I'm just like,
So
either sellers are just dumb. And that's the only thing I can think. I mean, I get wanting to liquidate it, but you could have liquidated this for way different than $15.
So this is the very first Aspen comic, if I'm not mistaken, and this is where he revived the Fathom series in this issue.
Yeah. So first, I mean, so at least it does have some kind of significance, right?
Yeah, for sure, man. If you're a Turner fan, or if you're a fan of Aspen or Fathom, yeah, definitely, for sure. So
shipping, I think shipping on this one was like $8 or $9 or something. I mean, it wasn't like ridiculous shipping or anything either. It just sold for $15. But again, it was in an auction, so I don't know. If you're trying to sell, these books that are kind of random, that aren't necessarily like super scarce or whatever, don't put a 9.8 up for a $1 auction. I mean, you could have put this on. I mean, you could even got more money on Whatnot for this, right?
yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know. Here's a great comment from Up the Down 7 that says, I see sellers put Michael Turner books up on Whatnot all the time, expecting them to go for some real money, and they never do. I've picked up many minty, sexy Turner covers for $3. There's no real market. So
that's so weird, right?
Listen, Whatnot is not the place to go sell non-hot books. It's just not. And it's got to be super fire hot to sell it on Whatnot, or it's got to be some new retailer exclusive that people, are constantly buying. Like if Bird City was selling on Whatnot all the time and people are like, oh, I'm a fan of Bird City, so I just buy all their stuff, that type of thing. Otherwise, I wouldn't sell anything other than super hot stuff on Whatnot. It's just not worth it. You lose money.
Right.
Yeah.
So, all right, we've got one more, you guys, for Buy the Dip. Make sure you guys go sub up to Popcorn Culture. You don't want to miss any of the content that Richie's putting out. He's doing great things over there. Let's get him to 1,000 subs immediately, as fast as possible, which means jump up on your phone. If you're watching this on your PC or your TV, go sub up on your phone. If you're watching this on your phone, go sub up on your PC. Just do it. At the final book, Miss Marvel number 12. This was a hot book for a while too.
Super hot. And it's got what, 2 variants, 1 in 25 variants, I think, for this.
There is a
Or is it
1 in 25.
1 in 25.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this was like the first
Red Dagger.
Red Dagger. That's it. Yeah. So this got 2 years ago. This was a $209.8. This was a $250 book 2 years ago. 7 months ago, it was still $100 9.8, and this week it sold for $22.
Wow.
So 2 years ago, $250. Today, $22
For a 9.8.
for a 9.8.
I'm not surprised.
There are some serious deals out there.
Yeah. With the amount of things that are just dropping in price. Rain and Threes talked about it, made a comment above in the live chat that this is the time to be buying, man. If these books continue to drop the way they do, you got to pick some of them up. You just have to. It's too cheap not to. And for everything cyclical, we know that. Spec is never dead. You could put dead Spec in a box and it'll be alive in 2 years, So...
right.
Yeah, but I mean, just to think, this is 90% down from its highs. 90%. That is actually more than 90%. It's like 92%. I mean, that's crazy. 92% drop.
Yeah.
Oof.
See what happens.
I mean, I would say all the Miss Marvels or all the Kamala Khan stuff is way, way, way cheap. And I didn't think the show was bad.
Loved it.
I didn't finish it, but I watched I watched everything but maybe the last 2 episodes, and I didn't think the show was bad.
That's coming from Ben Stein, guys.
But yeah, and I don't generally like stuff like that, but I didn't think the show was bad at all. And I mean, her stuff it just tanked. Just crazy to me, but.
Did you by any chance have a chance to check her like big keys out or her rare variants?
I haven't yet. No. I know they're down because I know what was it the all new Marvel Now 0.1 that was super expensive, and I know it's at least 50% down from its highs, maybe even more. But I don't know. Just crazy to me. I know the whole spec market is completely different than it was 2 years ago. I mean, it is just complete. Nobody's, even as stuff is showing up in general, things are not going crazy like they did 2 years ago. And I get that. And it was a different time. It was right in the middle of COVID. Get all that. But still, I mean, I'm not saying go out and spend your money, but I mean, this is a good buying time. I mean, we always go through the people did this before. They're like, oh yeah, once the market starts hitting that downturn, that's when I'm buying, and I'm going to wait for it to try and bottom out, and then I'm just going to buy a bunch of stuff, and you just have to have some cash on hand to be able to do that. And if you can, and make some correct purchases. I mean, these are 9/8 for $10-15. is kind of, I mean, like if you saw that in person, I mean, would you really pass this up for $20 for a 9/8 sitting there at the store? I don't think you would. I don't think anybody would. But you're not really looking for it, so they just kind of get passed by. But this is a good time to definitely grow your collection if you're looking, 5 years in the future.
Yeah, that's a great. Let that sink in, you guys. This is a good time to grow your collection. The books that sometimes maybe you're like, I can't afford that. Go take a look at them. They might be affordable for you now. So even with the economy being the way it is, I mean, books have dropped pretty heavy for most of the market. All right, you guys, make sure that you guys go check out Popcorn Culture. You can find Richie dropping great content all the time on YouTube at Popcorn Culture. He's got great comic knowledge. He's got great card content. He's opening up all kinds of sports stuff and non-sports stuff. And, of course, as always, bringing you great comic content in the same shows. So make sure you guys go check it out. What are you at, Richie? You are at 625 subscribers, you guys. 625 subscribers. He should already be over 1,000. He's got 75 videos over there for you guys to check out. That's great content and in a nice little short period. Most of his videos, it looks like, are about, 10 to an hour at the most, right, Richie? Is that about right?
I try to keep the videos, even when they're over by like a minute or less, of 10 minutes, right? I try to keep them at 10 minutes and under. So I've been cutting them down. I've gotten pretty handy on the editor and stuff. I mean, I'm not good, but I've gotten a lot better. But yeah, I know a lot of people that we're bringing to our channels are comic people and they're not into sports, and I get that. So I try to just make it fun for everybody the best way I know how. And as time goes on, the production will get better. So.
Amen. There's one of your nice pulls right there. A mirrored gold super short print of Nolan Jones. So that's pretty nice. Pretty good stuff. So you never know what you're going to find there over at Popcorn Culture. Make sure you guys go check it out. We got 181 watching us live. If you're not subbed up, please hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button. Let's get into the next part of the show. One of my favorite parts of the show, the Almost 10. Starting off with an interesting one here, you guys. A My Little Pony Ouija board book. If I was ever going to buy a My Little Pony book, this might be the book.
I got two on the way, buddy.
Do you? Great pickup, bro. Great pickup right here, man. Holy
This is
cow.
really weird, right?
Yeah.
Why is it? I don't know. I mean, I literally know nothing about My Little Pony, but this is really weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I call this low-hanging fruit. I mean, if you missed on this one in Spider-Boy and you're doing the Wednesday Warrior, you might want to go back to MCU back issues.
What's Spider-Boy? Just kidding.
This is a retailer incentive. Is it a 1 in 10 ratio?
1 in 10. 1 in 10. Yeah.
1 in 10. Yep, selling for 15 to 20, and the artist is Justa Suda. Is that how you pronounce it? Justa Suda?
Suda.
I don't know. Justa Suda's just a something. Yeah, I mean, My Little Pony and a Ouija board is just that is a very, very. It reminds me of what was that crossover that IDW did with, like, was it Transformers and Care Bears or something?
Yeah.
I mean, just something that made you're like, what? Like, this makes no sense whatsoever. But
Justa Suda is got a wild mind. I mean, to take My Little Pony with Supernatural with the Ouija board was it took some gonads on that one, unless they were instructed. Shout out to Mel. Mel's the one that pointed this out to me. I used to rip on MLP, and he put me in my place about 3-4 years ago in a general chat and was like, yo, you have no idea the money that people drop on these MLP incentives and qualifiers, aka unlocks. So yeah, I saw Ouija board with My Little Pony, and I said it's a no-brainer.
Shout out to Mrs. Horsecock Express who dropped a $9.99 super sticker. We appreciate you. Awesome stuff.
What is a super sticker as opposed to a super chat?
So a super sticker, we don't have they haven't updated the OBS software yet, but YouTube has these little stickers that they allow, and they're like little emojis, but they aren't popping up on StreamYard yet. So that will be coming. So
Oh, okay. I thought I was supposed to send him a House of Stein sticker.
Oh no, but hey,
Maybe I'll start doing that.
Yeah, hey,
everybody keeps saying they want some merch, and so I am looking at it. You guys have convinced me to at least look at it. I did on all the Stein packs last time. I did put my logo on the box, so everybody got a logo box, which was kind of cool. But I'm a little slow. I'm like the government. I do everything in glacial speed. So I will look and see what we got it.
Yeah, not bad at all. All right, next book. Actually, how much was this? Is this selling for?
15 to 20. So
not bad.
Definitely over ratio.
Not bad. All right, we got another ratio book on the list next. The Almost 10. Another book for the nerds.
I was torn on this one. I'm pretty sure there's there's either 1 in 10 or there's an open to order that has trade on it. But go ahead, man.
Well, a Star Trek book, that being a Deep Space Nine Star Trek book. Star Trek Deep Space Nine, The Dog of War, #1. This is the 1 in 50 schematic version. There is a regular schematic that has the trade dress on it. So make sure you guys know which one you're buying. There's 2 schematic types. There's I think a 1 in 25 trade dress schematic and a 1 in 50 virgin. So shout out to all the Star Trek nerds out there, and I want to give all the Star Trek nerds out there some advice. Being a large man most of my life, I do know one thing that is very important, and that is hygiene. So make sure you guys go check out manscaped.com and get 20% off your first order and free shipping by using the promo code BOGCAST for all the Star Trek nerds out there. So,
did you just do a promo?
I did.
It's so funny when I say I was torn on this, I go, man, are these Star Trek nerds that hard up to grab a blueprint of a ship or whatever it is? I was like, oh man, I bet he's gonna go off.
Yeah.
Hey, I will say these, and I've seen this with some of the other Star Trek books. If it's got like their ships on it, they sell. People love collecting these ones with their ships on them. I don't know why, but they do.
Yes.
What did you say the trade dress is like a 1 in 25, or is that a B cover?
Okay, so the 1 in 25 is the trade dress version of the schematic, where it says the trade on top and then Dog of War on the bottom right. There is a B cover that's like a wraparound baseball cover. As a matter of fact, here I'll just show you guys. This is basically what we are looking at for the rest of the Star Trek Deep Space Nine Dogs of War books. We've got this wraparound baseball cover. It's kind of weird.
That looks like Rick and Morty.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Fenolio is the person that did that. This is the main cover. And then you've got a cover C. And then you've got a 1 in 10 black and white. And then here's the 1 in 25 schematic with trade dress. I like the virgin one better.
Yeah, I do too. I agree. I think, is this show like good or something? I feel like this show's like revitalized these people.
What, Deep Space Nine? Deep Space Nine is old show. And I'll be honest.
No, there's a new one.
There is a new one?
Yeah, there's a new season that's out. I don't know if it's called Deep Space Nine, but there's a Star Trek first season was in 2022, and then season 3 comes out later this year.
Is that the Lower Decks show? Is that what that is?
That's the animated show. Is the Lower Decks one? Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, this one's a 1 in 50. This virgin one, it's selling for 125 plus. I would tend to think that it's got to be pretty hard to get, even if it's an IDW and they allow returns. I would still think most most retailers would be like, I'm not ordering 50 copies of this. I'm not messing with that.
Yeah.
Ah,
I'm glad
ooh, I
you're
like that cover. I like that cover for his
Avatar, right? Right? Yeah. Oh man. You guys. You just gotta learn to take a joke.
I think Brian.
Nerds.
I think McClay's secretly a closet Trekkie.
Hey, it's kind of like that saying that the person who ridicules him the most, that's their weak point.
He who
Yeah.
smelt it
Brian.
dealt it.
That's right. Hey, you dealt it. You smelt it. You dealt it.
Yeah.
It's like these speculators that keep giving us allegations. It's typically their own guilt that's coming out. But anyways, yeah, I can't wait to go to Brian's house when we finally hang out. And when he's sleeping, I look under his bed and it's just all Trekkie stuff, like action figures and T-shirts
out
and pajamas with footsie bottoms.
I do know one major Star Trek collectible from back in the day that's always in my head because I remember looking at the Toy Fair copies and seeing it sold for so much, and that is the tapestry version of Picard, the action figure. Sells for a shit ton of money. And I do not have a tramp stamp. That's for Chicks and Danzig. So, all right. How much is this selling for right out the gate?
125 plus.
Wow. Maybe those nerds are pretty smart. Next, you guys, we've got a Ric Flair book on the list. This is a special variant for the Ric Flair comics that are coming out right now. This is the codename Ric Flair Magic 8-Ball One-Shot VHS variant.
I don't know. I know that they've done other these VHS ones, like with with those schmalky covers and stuff for like whatever those books were. I can't even remember, but
yeah.
But I don't know if they're like incentives or how do they distribute these?
I thought is this a one per store?
I think this might be a retailer exclusive, but I could be wrong.
Oh, okay.
I could be
because
wrong.
I looked at all the incentives. I didn't see this one.
Yeah.
It might be a one per store. That makes somewhat some sense to be a one per store. I don't think Scout had. I don't think they had any retailer exclusives on this. I don't think, but I don't know. There is a like a 1 in 100.
Yeah, the James Bond one.
And yeah, and that one's pretty cool. But
like James Bond.
There's like no there was like no sales of it, so I couldn't. But this one had a bunch of sales on it. Yeah, Patrick said it was one per store. Cool. Yeah, this one's selling for like 30, which I think is pretty good. But yeah, I do like that James Bond homage one for sure.
Paul Diggs Comics says, I bought this Ric Flair Virgin variant last year. I think the one you bought, Paul, was the special one that James did for San Diego, right? The gold foil one, I think it was. He had put that out at San Diego last year, I believe. So, pretty cool. How much is this selling for?
30.
30. Not bad. Not bad. All right, this next book, you guys. I have been struggling with the worst freaking toothache. So bad. And they can't get me in. It's like a certain, and I don't want to creep anybody out talking about like dentists and stuff, but I got the worst toothache, and it's a tooth that like where like the roots are like go into my sinus, so I have to go to a special like surgeon, and they can't get me in till the 17th of April. So I've been just going crazy, just hating life. So I was up all night just hating life, and all of a sudden I look on my YouTube recommendations, and it's freaking Star Wars Celebration Europe live. So I got to sit there and watch live Celebration. I saw all the cool little teasers. So because of my tooth causing me issues, you always got to look at the good side. I got to see all the cool Star Wars stuff right out from the gate this morning, And this is one of the books that was offered a couple of weeks ago, but a lot more people are talking about it now because of the Star Wars celebration for some reason. But that being Star Wars Hyperspace Stories, the one-shot, the Jackson one-shot by Mike Mignola, the cover here, on the Almost 10.
Yeah, and this, like, I didn't realize, like, it didn't, like, initially hit me that it was a Mignola until I looked beyond his face. And then once I looked down, I was like, oh my gosh, that looks exactly like a Hellboy cover.
Yeah.
But it is cool. And I think this was exclusive to, like, Mignola, right? Like,
No, Dark Horse Direct, I believe. Was it Dark
so
Horse
he did
Direct?
it for, is that how you were able to get this?
So so here we go. Let me go ahead and show you guys this. It sold out immediately, man. It was $25, and it basically, like I said, it sold out pretty damn quick. Here we go. Let me go ahead and show you guys this. This is Dark Horse Direct site right here, talking about the book. Sold out $25. It says, "Holy Hutch, Jackson's back. Just in time for Star Wars Celebration, Dark Horse Direct is proud to offer Star Wars Hyperspace Stories Annual. Jackson, this limited edition comic will only be available in limited quantities of 500 through Dark Horse Direct. The remainder of the print run will be available exclusively through Forbidden Planet at Star Wars Celebration." And Star Wars Celebration is in Europe right now, which is interesting. Isn't it in Europe? I think it's in Europe.
So they didn't even, so Dark Horse didn't even sell 500 of them. They just sold a portion of them.
Yeah. But says here, edition size 2,000, 500 they did sell. So it's not limited to 500. It's limited to 2,000, and 1,500 were only available at Celebration.
So not very rare.
Not very rare, no. And people are probably thinking it's very rare because of that 500 thing, right?
Yeah, that's a little.
Yeah, kind of goes about the same thing that happened at C2E2, where you're messing with print count and that type of stuff, and people don't like that, especially collectors, man.
How many times have we said it in the past year since we've been doing this show? Has it been a year now? It's been over a year, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's been like almost right at a year.
Yeah. Almost right.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean was it when we got on House of Stein? Yeah.
Is they've got the comic book community, or the publishers have got to start serial numbering these books. They have to.
Yeah.
There's literally the market will not sustain itself until you have some kind of accountability in that fashion. You have to do it.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm surprised it hasn't been done yet. I mean, it just seems like, how hard would it be?
It's. I mean, they've obviously done it. I mean, they've done all those JTC, those negative variants that they gave out at the cons. They numbered all those. I had no issue with that. I mean, gosh, Polito does it on every single
issue.
book every single thing he does. Well, it clearly can be done. It's just whether or not these stupid people that are in charge, need to actually say, this is how we're going about it, and this is what we're doing from now on. And I don't know why you would not do that.
Unless they're trying to, and unless they're covering something up, they're not disclosing everything.
John Horn asks a great question. He says, "How would serial numbers stamped on books affect grading?" Now, if
stamped,
if CGC says they're okay with it and they don't give them green labels, the only way it would affect grading is if like they're foil stamped and like the foil is like offset, like those G.I. Joe Renegar copies, or like, you take a look at like to talk about sports cards, the 89 Upper Deck Ken Griffey Jr. rookie. Sometimes that hologram on the back will be off-centered or scraped away a little bit, and it affects grading. So that's the only way that I think it could affect grading, other than the fact that they've been giving green labels to hand-numbered or foil-stamped numbered books sometimes.
Yeah, and I think that was probably early days. I mean, like I said, you look at all those, like those Wolverine, Christopher negative space ones. I mean, those are all blue labels. CGC was made aware of that, from the publisher, that they were serial numbered, And I think if they're made aware of it, then there's no issue at all. Now, if it was like if I had a House of Stein variant and they sent them to me, and then I took a stamp and I basically hand stamped every single one, I
And
think
green
you
label.
could. I think you could still get a blue label, but it's going to be up
They're gonna
to
write it on there.
it's going to be up to the store to work a deal out with CGC and CBCS to basically say, hey, this is what I'm doing. We're gonna, if you want to, if you want me to, have it live while I'm doing it, to verify it, we can do that. There are ways to verify that, to basically guarantee blue labels on these things.
Anything that affects the appearance of the original book off the printer by the manufacturer is a manufacturer defect, right? So you get that green label. So that's the, like sometimes they do it with error books, with retail exclusive. So if there's a retail exclusive that's tied into like a book that's dropping that week and there's an incentive involved and the retail exclusive is a double cover, well, usually will get like a green label. If it's from the publisher, most of the time it won't get a green label. But what I'm saying is that all they have to do is because I mean, just writing like printing on the splash page, 5 of 500 or whatever. That seems kind of a little bit cheesy to me in the sense. I think what they should do is just add an additional wrap in there and just like an insert. That's all. Just put an insert in there, just like a coupon or a digital stamp or whatever. I mean, besides the actual context of the stories, there's enough bullshit, enough stuff that we really don't care about in the book that they could replace, like a sponsor or what have you. I think that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, Three River Comics says I don't think CGC dings grease pen dates too hard. They actually don't ding dates at all, do they? I thought they quit dinging dates.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I think they held up on it. There was a time that they were putting green labels on those or blue label, and they'll write it timestamp. You know what I mean? The grease label, date, blah 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 on the blue on the universal. But recently, I'd say as far as probably the pandemic and to today, multiple people that submit a lot of books at Clean and Press have been telling me they have not been getting dinged on timestamps that are written on there with grease pencils.
How much is this one going for, Stein?
This one's going for 75.
75.
Sorry, date stamp.
But now that I know it's 2000, I wouldn't pay 75 for it.
No.
Yeah, that thing's got to be tough. I mean, sure, there's more than we thought, but somebody in the chat was just saying, because they took 1,500 and Brian, what you saw, because your toothache, they gave them away at that thing, right? So those things probably are rolled up in the back of people's pockets. Kids are probably using them like they're a jockey on a horse and they're horse racing, like whipping their leg and shit like that. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if people are freaking burning the shit and making a mosh pit. But point being is it's gonna be tough. Plus, let's say you have a person that actually brought something to take care of it. An all black cover, man, that shit flakes off. That shit rubs off so easy. Gotta be real careful.
Amen. More RSO. All right. Next on the list.
Goddamn Rick Sensen.
We've got another book, another good one. I like this one on the Almost 10. All New Wolverine number 4. This is the Sook variant right here, I believe, right?
It is. I'm still trying to figure out how she stands like that.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. You just ruined it for me, bro. You ruined it. It's like the man hand on the Teen Titans 75.
Yep, once you see it, can't go back. This has, people have wanted this, and it's not the easiest because it is a number 4 and it's a 1 in 25. But it's never been like super expensive. But this week, man, this thing, a 9.8 of this sold for 400. Which is like 3 times I think the highest I think it was before. It was like 150 or 140 or something like that. Chloe says I stand like that all the time. Right. Yeah, it's with your stack of 9.8s holding your butt up. Yeah, 400 for this seems really high. I still think X23 stuff is still like there's room for this stuff to grow, right?
Super underrated,
Big
though.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, big time underrated. I agree. We'll see if she shows up maybe in Wolverine Deadpool. That would be a big deal.
That would be huge.
Yeah. How much is it selling for in the secondary?
CGC 980 this sold for 400.
Nice.
I like this cover. The only thing I don't like about this cover from this profile, but if you look past the volume of beautiful hair and all that, she looks like Batman from the profile.
Yeah.
Like Batman, not Batman in the comics. I'm talking about Batman, Dark Knight Batman, Christian Bale with that no nose.
Yeah. All right.
True.
Next on the list, almost 10. This is a cool book. I like this book. Futurama Comics to Infinity. This is a San Diego Comic-Con variant right here from 2013.
This is so cool. Like, Futurama was such a cool show anyways. And there's just not that much stuff out there from Futurama. I didn't even know this one existed. And it's thick. It's a thick book. Like, it's like a trade paperback size.
It's a wraparound too. Wraparound cover. 104 page.
Is it?
104 page soft cover trade paperback. It collects stories from issues 23, 37, 39, and 45. So, and it was
did they
made.
just pick random books?
Yeah, it was made to commemorate the final season.
This is so cool. Like, now I'm starting to see some of these older con variants that are like I never knew that existed. And I wonder if like some of these ones that are like super limited or whatever that people just don't even like. I literally didn't even know this book existed.
Yeah.
But a copy of this did sell this week for $125. But I like this one a lot. Now there was only one other sale that I could find anywhere, and it was like 3 or 4 months ago. There was one that sold, but it had a Matt Groening sketch on it on the cover. So that one sold obviously for more because it had Matt Groening original art on it. But this one was just a raw book, no sketches, no autos, nothing like that. Now I kind of want it.
I know, right? Well, this is a good one, and a really good one. But this next one, this might be the belle of the ball, ladies and gentlemen. This is probably a book that a lot of people don't know exists, and it might be one of the best Spawn / McFarlane covers out there. And probably super rare, especially newsstand versions of it. Curse of Spawn, number 9, the newsstand version, a great, great McFarlane and Capullo cover right here.
Does that say Turner as well?
Hold on, let me take a look. It doesn't, no.
Yes,
it does. It's a different Turner, though. It's not Michael Turner. It's
okay.
It's Dwayne Turner.
Dwayne Turner. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if they just used like Michael Turner used like a different box or something because it was Spawn or an Angela cover or whatever. But
so the pencils are by Dwayne Turner and McFarlane. So Dwayne Turner did the left part of it. McFarlane did the right. And the inks are by Danny Mickey, who always does McFarlane or Capullo's inks. And Greg Capullo did inks on McFarlane's part. So pretty damn cool book right here.
Interesting. Yeah, I knew that there was some Curse of the Spawn newsstands out there. I don't know how deep they went. Were all the Curse of the Spawns, did they all have newsstands? Or where did it stop?
Great question. There's a lot of newsstands in those Curse of Spawn issues that I know the first number 1 and number 2 are definitely people are on the lookout for them. Check this out, though. Look at this, dude. This is a special version of this book. It was put out by a company called Junior Press in 1997, and I believe it was put out in Europe. But the same issue, different cover.
Nice. I like it.
By Turner.
Hmm.
Yeah. So this is a foreign variant of Curse of Spawn, number 9.
Up the Down said the whole run has newsstands.
There you go.
So
Not bad.
cool. Yeah, this one, there was a CGC 9.6 sale of this. So not a 9.8, 9.6 sold for 200 for this. So even if you're you see some of these in the back issue bins, and they may not necessarily be 9.8s. I mean 9.6 sold for 200. So I mean it still may be
Spawn newsstands, baby.
Yeah, I mean just keep buying them. I mean, I don't know. I don't really even know much about Curse of the Spawn as opposed to Spawn the regular run.
Different holder of the Spawn. It's not
I think
Al.
Okay.
I think you brought up a good point there, Ben. I mean, you didn't say it, but I kind of got the feeling you were kind of saying like, hey, without saying it, we all want 9.8s, but we don't have to be snobs. Play the market. So if there's a grade that's 9.4 and it's really down and there's profit margin to be made, grab it. Or 9.6 or 9.2, whatever the deal is. If you're not going to CPR it. And a lot of that it goes with a lot of these blue chip books too. Like a lot of people, they want a nice high grade. They want their first Silver Surfer appearance or first Galactus appearance in at least like a 4 or 5 off white to white or white pages. Well, or higher, maybe 6.5, something like that. Well, hey, there might be the 3 of that book might be way down, and that might be something that you could flip and make money to, so you could buy a better copy. Yeah, that was good. I like that.
Yeah, I remember because I used to do some shows, but I haven't done one in a long time. But I remember that like sitting up at shows, like I mean, we are like super nitpicky on what we buy and spend our money on. We're like, if it doesn't have a 9.8 shot, I'm not buying it. And man, setting up at a show, like people are just buying things. They don't even care. They're just like, yeah, I want that, and then they just buy it. They don't even really care about condition as much as we do. It's real odd. Like, I mean, there's been books that I've sent in. I'm like, yeah, this is definitely not a 9.8, but I'm okay if it gets a 9.4, or even a 9.2 or a 9.0 or something like that. It still sells. Like, it's okay. You don't have to have 9.8s on a lot of these books for them to still sell. It's so strange.
Yeah, I love the idea of looking for hard to find newsstands. Richie's always been talking about that and how that I mean, I know some people can't stand it. Like the same people that can't stand second and third print collectors, they talk shit about newsstand collectors. But these rare ones are super collectible, super tough to find in decent grades, super tough to find at all. So
and as collectors, we like a story. We want to hear a story about a newsstand book that literally went from the newsstand to through families, through different hands to us, and it just got pressed for a 9.6. Like that's cool to me.
Great avatar right there, Roberto. Speaking of Futurama. All right. Did you say how much is 209.6?
6.
Nice. Yep. All right, this next book, you guys, we're going to skip over something because we have another newsstand on the list. The Amazing Spider-Girl, number 12, right? Number 12 newsstand?
Such a cool cover.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even know this one existed. This is such a cool homage.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. Homage to 361 Bagley.
Yeah. And it's so cool. Which Spider-Girl is this? Is this Mayday?
This is 105. 105, right?
Is that who this is?
Yeah, I believe so.
May, right?
May Parker, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay,
this is from 2006.
Okay, 2006.
Shout out to Thoro. If he was in the chat, he'd be able to tell us definitely. But I'm thinking it's May.
Yeah, it is May, daughter of Spider-Man. Whatever happened to the daughter of Spider-Man? Yep.
Such a cool cover. I love this cover. Now that I've seen it. Again, newsstand of Amazing Spider-Girl. That's a super off title for something to be actually have a newsstand on it. I would think that there can't be that many newsstands out there, but um, a newsstand of this in VF near mint. Again, not 9.8, raw VF near mint. Sold for 40 on this. So again, it's another one of these that's like you may look at it and you're like, it's got a couple spine ticks on it. I'm not paying $10 for it. Um, it's gonna be profitable if you do. People are looking for these things.
I don't think there's any variance for this for a lot of these
I don't think so.
issues in that 2006 run. So yeah, this makes it more interesting. Like oh man, there's only one cover, but then you got a newsstand. I wonder if it was a price variant.
Well, there are some great just covers in the May Parker's runs, right? This run, didn't she have a run before this, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, that started with 0, and it was like the What If 105 homage.
Yeah. There are some killer covers in there. Some black suit covers, some Venom symbiote covers, just some amazing covers in that run that people don't even know about, yet alone look for. Go look for Amazing Spider-Girl or Spider-Girl short boxes in your local comic shops, and just go look at the covers. You'll find at least 10 covers that are killer covers. You can probably cheap at the comic shops right now. So, all right. Next, you guys, we've got an oldie but goodie, a Dell 15 center. Is this the book, Stein?
It is.
Barbie and Ken, #1. A very special book right here. The first appearance of Barbie in a comic book and the first appearance of Ken in a comic book from 1962.
So very strange that this little girl is like daydreaming of Barbie and Ken. It's kind of weird, right? Um, it's so strange to me, but obviously Barbie's getting some run right now with the new Barbie trailer, which looks super weird.
Yeah.
Like really weird. But two sales of this week. A CGC 50 sold in 2021 for $50, sold this week for $300, and a CGC 4.0 sold for $280, so almost the same price for a 4.0 and a 5.0 of this. But yeah, most of these Dell books, you're like, nah, I'm just skipping right through the Dell section. Nobody cares about this. There's a billion of them out there. But this one can bring you some good money for it, even in lower grade, mid grade, 5.0, 4.0, you're still making almost $300 on this.
Yeah, that's good stuff, man. That would be a cool book to find in some like thrift shop or flea market. I feel like that's where I find all my Dell.
Yeah, this definitely looks like something that would be in an antique store for sure.
Yeah. So, all right, we've got one more. Well, actually, two more books for the Almost 10. And these are books that I bet a lot of people don't know about. You guys ever heard of Pineapple Man? How about Pineapple Man issues 9 and 10? Very, very tough to find these issues. Let me tell you a little bit about Pineapple Man. There would be no Pineapple Man if Sam's high school art teacher, Sam being the guy who created this, had not gotten fed up with him reading comic books in class. Sam found himself in the position of having to create his own superhero or receive a failing grade. So he created this character. Over time, Pineapple Man's design has tweaked and was given a backstory that tied him to ancient Hawaii. Sam's goal was to bring the history of the islands together with its multicultural heritage and local lifestyle as experienced by his ethnically diverse character who is still finding himself. So, despite not owning a computer or being able to afford high-quality art supplies and the enormous difficulty of finding affordable printing back in 1994, Sam went for it. He blew through a lot of Sharpies and glue sticks and couldn't afford to publish all the stories he had on the table. But what he did accomplish was sharing Pineapple Man on the international level and finding out that this local superhero really could be taken seriously. So, supposedly, this character only had 4 issues that came out at first, if I'm not mistaken. But he decided to to continue the story and put out more issues. So it sounds like you can go find, if you live in Hawaii or in that area, on any of those islands out there, you maybe want to check these stores, Other Realms, Choice Comics, and Maui Comics and Collectibles for more information on Pineapple Man. But yeah, very interesting Hawaii branded hero right here. I love the look of him. It's great.
Yeah, and what I found super interesting when I saw like those first 4 issues were from like the early '90s, and 9 and like 10 came out in 2022, and number 9 came out in 2020. So it's like he's doing like one issue like every few years. I mean, like it's a really and you can tell. I mean, obviously for him to do this is obviously like a passion project for him. I mean, um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's so cool. But both of these, I think they probably sold to the same buyer
Mm-hmm.
this week. The only way I think online that you could get this, could have gotten this, was like through their website, or
Yes.
probably through something that Brian was talking about, one of these Hawaiian shops or something like that.
Yeah, right here.
But yeah, but both of these sold for the number 9 sold for $45, the number 10 sold for $50.
Wow.
Yeah, just a cool uh just it's like just one of those things that you're like, you almost feel like you should be supporting. It looks
Right.
like really good art too, right?
Dude, I'm looking at the miniseries, the 1 through 4 miniseries, the covers on Solo Graphics put it out. It looks
Uh-huh.
like if Jim Lee and Rob Liefeld had a kid, this would be it. But like the best part of Liefeld. Not with a bad feed. And
Yeah, like her face looks great, right?
yeah, it's just unbelievable. You should see the cover of number 3 and 4. Oh man.
How
Pretty
is
cool.
how I mean, has this dude never done anything else?
Interesting.
He says he crafts unique toys and henshin helmets, which can sometimes be coerced into parting with for compensation when he gets hungry enough. Also, he gives and receives support for the Hawaiian Comic Book Alliance. So it says here that he has recently added another title to his roster entitled The Hawaiian Avenger Kanaka, which tells the story of a homeless veteran who faces issues both mundane and supernatural and is followed around by a cat and a rooster. So there you go. But look at some of this art by this guy, dude. Holy cow. Look at this.
That's really good.
Yeah. His name's as Red Hood put in the notes in the live chat. His name's Sam Campos. And yeah, man. This is good stuff on wood. Whoa. That's
That's
good.
sick.
Right?
Yeah.
This is all very, very good stuff, man. Look at this. So there you go. That's badass right there.
Hell yeah, dude. Oh.
So Sam Campos.
Get him on your show, Brian.
There we should reach out to him. But be on the lookout, you guys, for Pineapple Man. Cool idea, and I love these self-published books. I think they're super cool, and I'm always on the lookout for self-published books in back issue bins. So, all right, you guys, that is the almost 10. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Let's move on to the good stuff. Our honorable mention this week, our Golden Age honorable mention this week, is a beaut. It's a good one. Foxhole, issue number 1, from October of 1954. a classic Jack Kirby cover based on a magazine cover, if I'm not mistaken, or a piece of art, right? That he did this homage of.
Is that what it is?
I believe so.
Okay. Yeah, this one's a really cool, and I like the little the note that he's writing on that cover. That is hilarious. But yeah, I mean, it just kind of like, again, you kind of think back to, I mean, this is in the 50s, and this is kind of, war was way different 80 years ago or 70 years ago than it is today. And I'm, and this is a Kirby cover. I didn't even realize that.
So here is what it's based on. All right, let me show you this. This is the artist and the art that it's based on. And let's see here. There we go. High Visibility Rap by Joseph Hirsch, a wounded soldier in Italy in 1944 from the U.S. Army. So that's what it's based on right there. Pretty damn cool, man. Jack Kirby cover.
It is cool.
Yeah.
CGC 3.5 of this. Overstreet has, I think, 3 O's listed for like $200 or something like that. Hey, Laura. I crashed your show slightly tonight, but I will get on your show, I promise. But congratulations to you guys, seriously. 3.5 sold for $1,800 this week, which was, I thought, really cool. This is pretty I think this is just an interesting book. It just kind of it looks like it tells what probably war really was like. Like, there's dead people over there, and I probably killed them all, and I don't have a face anymore, but I'm just going to write a little nice letter home. Like, I think that's how.
There was 2 Foxhole issues, right? There was one from 50 and one from 54 series, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong about that, but issue number 4 of Foxhole also has a really iconic cover. This one right here. It's a great cover too, right there. Another Simon and Kirby smash hit. So there you go. Be on the lookout for the Foxhole stuff. It's good stuff, man. I love those old war books, and especially if they're Kirby. Who doesn't love it? So, all right, man, that's a good one. I don't want to move on, but I will. On to the next honorable mention. A book that has been on the list multiple times over the past month. Star Wars Return of the Jedi, Jabba's Palace, issue number 1, the Ryan Brown Virgin variant.
Hold it. What'd you do, Brian?
Is this the wrong one?
No, that's... Hold it. Let me look at my list. What did I send you? Did I send you a wrong list? I hope I didn't. Let me look.
Did I choose the wrong one?
No, that's the right book, but I've got that one at number 7. Let me see.
Wait, hold on. Let me fix this. Properties. Boom. All right, I got it. Did
I send you the right list, or did...
That was my fault.
Sure.
At the honorable mention, Indigo Children number 1, the Jenny Frison black and white 1:75 ratio variant.
Yeah, we talked about this last week on the Almost 10. It was selling for like 120. Yeah. That's we're professionals. Don't try this at home, folks. This one was selling for 120 last week. This week it's selling for 200.
Whoa.
So
wow.
Yeah, so this one's gone up quite a bit from last week. Again, there's not very many sales. There was only, I think, 2 or 3 sales of this. But again, how many? I mean, it's a 1:75.
Right.
For this. I mean, there probably isn't that very many of them out there. Yeah, 200 this week.
Yeah, it's a great cover.
Yeah, it is. Jenny Frison is amazing. She really is that good. So, love it. All right, you guys, 210 watching live right now. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, hit that like button. It really helps us out a lot. And if you are not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. We're really going to push subscriptions as much as possible over the next couple of months because it's important right now, especially with the way the algorithm is, to hopefully earn your guys' subscription if you enjoy the content that you're watching or any of our content. We enjoy doing this. It is a lot of work. Trust me, you guys, if you guys have never created or content like this for YouTube content or stuff like this, it's not just jumping on and pressing a button. It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, and at the very least, if you guys really want to support us, hit that sub button, hit that like button, and of course, all you guys that help out with super chats and memberships, we appreciate you immensely. On to the Hot 10. Starting off at number 10 this week, Poison Ivy, number 11, the Seb McKinnon 1 in 50 foil variant of this beautiful, like old school, it reminds me of like, what do they call that that painting style that happened in England in like the early 1900s where they wanted it to look old? I'm glad Laura's watching. She probably knows it. She's an art major. But there's like, not Art Nouveau, it's like a style, but like a fake Victorian style, and they always really hit on the Knights of the Round Table and that type of look. And that's exactly what this reminds me of. Seb McKinnon's art really reminds me of that style. And I've seen a lot of people talking about how great these foil variants are, but also I see a lot of people talking about getting these damaged, and a lot of these came damaged, creased up. So, well, what are these selling for on the secondary? Solo Wookie. He says
80 to 100. Oh, go ahead.
I can feel it coming in the air tonight. I took it off, Solo Wookie. I took it off. So.
Yeah, this one's selling for 80 to 100. I will say there may be a site or two out there that you may be able to find it for just slightly over ratio. Not saying to go buy it, just saying that if you are looking for this and don't want to pay 80 to 100, you may be able to find it on some of the large retailers for that. I don't know condition though, so that may be why it's slightly less. But yeah, this is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Thanks, Paul.
Shout out to Paul. He
Appreciate
says support for the boys with a $10
Ben.
chat.
Ben, when I was on MCM when this was on FOC, and right before we segue into Brian's FOC, I did my like spec picks, and I picked this up first thing out of the whole panel. I was like, whoa, you know. And I was saying to Brian, I'm not sure if I can't remember if Brian said he remembered or not, but I said, gee, remember last summer, maybe it was a little earlier, there was that Seb McKinnon book, Poison Ivy book that snuck up on us, and it just
yes.
And then it was like it showed up like number 8 or number 7. And then
it was actually around the same time at this time last year during C2E2, if I remember correctly.
And I said, Brian, I go, I think the second time we were like, I can't believe we should have bought it, or we should have, you know, we said something like that backstage. And I go, and I was like, I think this could be another situation like that. This could pop out the gate. And Brian's like, yeah, this thing is beautiful. The one thing that was the difference though is that there's a card stock with this exact cover where you get a clear view, which is kind of the down part of it. So I guess that's why they probably put the foil. But yeah, I mean, this was one that was kind of a no-brainer on FOC.
Let me give Solo Wookie his due real quick. Here we go.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Hold on.
There we go. There we go. You're welcome, buddy. You're welcome. Hope you enjoyed that. So continue on. Great stuff. All right. Yeah, man. I think you're right, Richie. I think it was, as a matter of fact, it was this time last year, almost exactly, that came out, that Seb McKinnon came out. So, yeah, very interesting.
I feel like I really want like some OA from this guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Is it a guy or a girl?
It's a guy, I believe. Yeah.
I don't know anybody named Seb, so I don't really know if that's
probably Irish, I imagine. But sounds like an Irish.
But this just feels like something that I'd want some kind of OA to hang on the wall, right?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Good stuff. All right. Next on the list at number 9. Another one that's been on the list a couple weeks in a row now. Tim Drake, Robin, issue number 7, the Serge Acuna 1 in 25 variant.
Yeah, this one is now 100 to 100 and a quarter. Still going up. Yeah, I mean, I guess if
100, how much did you say?
100 to 100 and a quarter.
Wow, for a 1 in 25.
Yeah, I guess.
It's those anime eyes, man.
I guess.
What was that song?
Definitely not something I would spend my money on, but heck, most of the stuff I buy, nobody would spend their money on.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see I got comic book guy behind me, so that's what I spend my money on. Which, by the way, I teased that I was going to put that in a Stein pack, and I didn't. So, sorry if anybody thought that somebody was going to get that. I just couldn't. I couldn't part with it. I had to keep it.
Yeah, I don't blame you. All right, next at number 8. This is a cool book right here. Sonic the Hedgehog, the 5th anniversary edition. This is the 1 in 50 retailer incentive issue. A very, very cool book right here.
Is it just me, or does it feel like there has been a ton of Sonic variants that do well recently?
No.
I don't know what it is. And I don't know why they're making so many like one-offs, like one-shots and stuff. It seems like they do that a lot now. I guess people buy them. I don't know. This one's selling for 100 and a quarter. I mean, I remember that one that they did with all like there was like 50 or 75 pictures of Sonic on the front cover. Remember that one?
Yeah.
That one was really cool. I don't even know if that one's selling for anything anymore. It probably isn't, but I don't even remember what book that was. But
that was like a 1 in 100 or something like that. Like
something like that. Yeah. It was like some kind of milestone.
Milestone, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, something. I don't remember what it was, but it seems like they've been having a lot of those here recently. But yeah, 100 and a quarter on this one.
Yeah, that's a cool one, man. Let me see if I can get. It's not coming out the best way yet, just because it has the. I have the green screen on it, so let me see here if I can find something. Let me try. I thought that I had. Well, take a look at it. If you guys like this cover, go take a look at what it actually looks at. It's taking out the blue color to it, so you're not seeing the really cool blue as you guys can see on Sonic and some of the other things. So make sure you guys go check it out. I like this book. I talked about it, I think, on FOC when it was on FOC. Cool book. Very, very cool book. All right. Next, at number 7 this week. There we go. Spoilers. I saw somebody say spoilers, and I had to crack up. Star Wars: The Return of the Jedi, Jabba's Palace, issue number 1. The Ryan Brown Virgin 1 in 100 variant is back on the list at number 7 this week. Moving on up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this was our honorable mention last week, right? I think because there was so few sales, and they were just barely above 100. So it was slightly above ratio, but there was hardly any sales. This week there was actually several sales, and it's now selling for 150 to 175. So it's picking up, it's selling, and it's a pretty. We talked about it last week. It's
shout out to Decor.
It's not a surprise. This one's a pretty book if you like Star Wars.
It's kind of a cool story too. I know I dogged it a little bit when we had it on last week on the honorable mention, but I do like the fact that the story is about that that interpretation droid that we saw getting tortured in Return of the Jedi, the movie. So pretty cool little callback on that one. Yeah, that droid got the raw deal. That's the truth. That's the truth. So, all right. At number 6 this week, another Star Wars book, you guys. Star Wars heavy. A lot of Star Wars news hitting. A lot of great trailers coming out, and the Ahsoka trailer was awesome. Absolutely awesome. And it is going, I hope and pray that it's good. I hope so much that it's good. I want that to be good, and we all better hope that it's good. It looks like it. And we got to see our first little glimpse of Thrawn, and she even said heir to the Empire. Oh, man. So here we go. At number 6, Star Wars, heir to the Empire, number 1.
Yeah, that was a nice little nod. I saw that too. I was like, now, if people are like Star Wars but never saw anything about, knew anything about this, they wouldn't have probably even picked up on that. But yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. These obviously got, this book's gone roller coasters for a while. It picked up, about 4 or 5 months ago, something like that, and then it kind of dropped back down again. Us comic people, our attention span is very, very, very short. But it did pick up this week. It's about 20% more, kind of across the board.
Adam.
Not, yeah, 9.4. 9.4s are 250. 9.6 is 340. 9.8s are back up to 1,500. So they had dropped all the way down to like less than 1,000 for 9.8s of this. So the fact that it's now back up to 15 to 1,600 is that's a pretty significant bump for it.
How much again? What's it back at?
9.8s are back up to 15 to 1,600.
Wow. Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, we spoke on it when it was down before, by the way.
Yeah, what about
I didn't. The news. Obviously, newsstands are gonna. The only newsstands that I saw that sold were lower grade newsstands. None of the high grade newsstands. I don't think anybody actually. I think anybody that had invested in the 9.8 newsstands, which I'm going to kick myself because I had a regular 9.8 and a 9.8 newsstand and sold them both for not very much money. But yeah, so there wasn't really any like major sales of the newsstands when I wrote this. I don't know if that's changed at this point, but they were just the direct, no barcode, no toy version, were the $1,500 and $1,600 sales.
Is there any chance that we get flashbacks of Luke and Mara Jade in Ahsoka?
I would think anything is on the table at this point.
Yeah, I agree on that.
Yeah,
I think people have been waiting so long for this to actually happen. And yeah, I was not that I was hoping for, like a full reveal, but it would have been, the way that the tease on just seeing his back with his white suit, walking along was pretty cool. Yeah, it was pretty cool for sure.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. I'm willing it to be good, along with everybody else, every other Star Wars fan out there. I don't know. After this whole Lizzo thing and Jack Black thing, and I'm sorry, you guys, this isn't me trying to be anti-woke, but that was so bad, so bad that I almost walked away from Star Wars. Like, I watched that episode. I was like, what is going on here? This is terrible. So let's hope that Ahsoka changes. You didn't see
Lizzo
it yet?
and bro, I haven't watched any. This is on Mandalorian.
Yeah,
I haven't
bro.
watched any. I haven't watched any the new season. I haven't watched one episode.
So,
Wow.
this is what happened. Let me go ahead and show you. Shout out to my boy Keith, who runs the Bogcast Twitter account. But let me take a quick look here. There we go. He made this meme, so pay no attention to the meme. But this is a screenshot from the latest episode. Lizzo and Jack Black. Ouch. It happened. So
Was it like a big role?
Yeah.
for either of them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Major
it was
speaking
it's
roles.
decent.
Yeah. Lizzo put out a thing saying, when I was a young girl, my dad introduced me to Star Wars like a rite of passage. The trilogies are his favorite movies and quickly became mine. When Jon Favreau called me and offered me the role of Duchess, I cried all day wishing my dad was still with us because he'd be so proud. That's cool. I'll be honest. I'm not a fan of Lizzo, but that was a cool thing to read. Star Wars was a dream I never thought possible, but thanks to John, Bryce, and everyone in the galaxy, I'm now part of the ever-expanding saga of the stars. I'm in honorable company and forever grateful. This is the way, and may the force be with you. It was so bad, though. The writing.
Can she act?
She acted. The writing, the acting, everything about it was just terrible, man.
I
It
thought
was-
Jack Black's costume, and I just hated the way, like, his lines, the way he was. I mean, he was doing it like Jack Black's way. I just didn't like. It just didn't fit him. He is
Yeah.
the wrong actor.
I mean, like, I don't care about. I don't mind, celebrity cameos and stuff. If the people who are doing it, like, can actually act, like, if they seem like they can act, I don't even care. I mean, I don't like Lizzo either, but if she did a good job, I wouldn't care at all. I mean, it make no difference. But uh I guess I'll see once I actually get to that episode then. But
Yeah. And again, we're not taking digs at anybody that enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it, great. It was just I think that comment that who was it? Adam made, that he said it was so bad it took you out of the show, and that's exactly what it did. It was so bad, the acting, the story, like that whole little scene where they're getting the key to the city and stuff. It just took you out of the episode. It wasn't good. I didn't enjoy it. So, but that being said, more fingers crossed for Ahsoka. That's for sure. I love that we're getting the Rebels squad, and that's one thing that Nearing Nirvana did tonight that was very interesting. That I suggest Lucy or somebody or who else was saying that they it's really hard for them to get into Star Wars because they never got into the movies to begin with, and Laura said start with Rebels, the animated series Rebels, and I think that's a great thing to tell people. That's a great comment and some great advice. If you have a hard time getting into Star Wars, start with Rebels. Start with the Rebels stuff. It's you don't have to know everything to jump right into Rebels, and Rebels is excellent. So, and that's where we're heading. So, all right, at number 5, halfway through, you guys, you knew it was gonna be on here somewhere, and here it is. Infinite Crisis, number 5. This is the Jim Lee issue right here, cover for issue 5. Is this the second print? Did I grab the wrong one? I don't think.
no, that's it.
Okay, that's
No,
it.
that's the right one.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so when people say covers don't matter, that it's guts that matter, this book right here is the perfect example of how covers matter. Jim Lee cover, Blue Beetle's on the cover, and then you've got the variant that's a George Perez cover, but Blue Beetle's not on it, sells for about 40% of what this one does. So don't tell me that covers don't matter. 9/8 are back up on this one, 275 to 300. Yeah, I will say this about the Blue Beetle trailer. The movie looks super fun, like super fun. Story looks completely unoriginal. It's the same superhero, some unassuming guy accidentally gets a superpower, doesn't know how he got it, doesn't know what to do with it. It's the same story that's like literally in every single movie anymore. Like, can they not come up with something a little more original?
Yeah.
But the movie itself looked fun. It looked like a very, very fun movie to watch.
I really liked this character because I was reading comics big time when Infinite Crisis came out. Like, I was big into Infinite Crisis, bought all the variants. I was reading probably 10 series at the time, every Wednesday, reading on a regular basis, and I loved Jaime Reyes and this version of Blue Beetle. I remember, when New 52, when that 52 started, and they were all talking about the Question, and I remember one of my very first spec plays was to go find that, those early Blue Beetle issues, and then they decided to bring in a new Blue Beetle and Jaime Reyes, and I love the design of his suit. I love everything about this character. So I hope that the movie, like Stein is saying, it just hits on that simple stuff really quick in the beginning and then changes the tune. But who knows? We'll see. Let's keep our fingers crossed for that one too. Is there a
black
and white version of this? Or is this the only one?
The black and white, I think, it's the second print, I think, is of the George Perez cover, right?
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah, covers do matter 100%. And DC needs to figure that out. So, Patrick says, McClay, finally somebody that calls him Jaime and not Jamie. Yeah. Stupid Americans. All right. Next, at number 4 this week. More Star Wars, you guys. Star Wars, Kanan, The Last Padawan. Number 1. First appearance of Kanan. And you got cameos of Ezra and Sabine Wren and Hera. So,
and Chopper, right?
And Chopper, yeah.
Get to the chopper. That was terrible.
I got a buddy. This is kind of cool. I got he's an acquaintance. I used to do a podcast with Kyle called Absolute Geek, and one of the guys who's a big Absolute Geek fan builds the droids that you see at like cons and stuff, and out of like 3D printers and the remote control, and they're badass. And he was a big Chopper guy, and he built a version of Chopper that was awesome. So, and I didn't realize there's a bunch of Chopper fans out there until I saw, I met him. So, that's a much beloved character. Don't ever fret on Chopper, man.
Yeah. So again, this is, this is all from the Ahsoka trailer. Seeing Sabine. What kills me is it's not like we didn't know that the people. You knew this was going to happen. I mean, this is right. I mean, this is not anything that. Oh my gosh! Wow, this popped out of nowhere. This has been known forever. Like, I'm sorry that you were selling your 9/8 of this for less than 200. Well, basically all year, up until this week. Now 9/8 are 250 to 300 again. So I don't know why you were selling them beforehand, but you were, and you missed out on probably $75 to $100 or something like that. So
have we seen a big jump on the Clone Wars 1 yet, or were they already too high to see that big of a jump?
They weren't. I was surprised. I was expecting Clone Wars 1 to be up. They really weren't. They were still about the same. It was pretty much just across the board. I mean, it's such an expensive book already. That it's hard to spend that kind of money unless you're like a really huge Star Wars fan. But I feel like if you were a really huge Star Wars fan, you had it before it got to that really expensive price point. Like you weren't buying in at 1,000 on that. I mean, you bought in when it was probably. I mean, I wasn't even a big Star Wars fan or anything. And I had several copies of that I got for like $5. I mean, like, it was a very, very cheap book for the longest time. So I think most like diehard Star Wars fans already had that book.
Yeah. Decor says, if covers matter, why isn't Rebels cartoon cover better than this one?
You talking about the Star Wars Rebels 1? Is that what he's talking about?
I don't know what he's talking about. That might be it.
So that I think that is that's an interesting. The Star Wars Rebels 1 is, I think, super interesting, because it has like all the stuff that you would want for it to be like first appearance, but because it's magazine size is where it just throws everything completely off.
Yeah.
Like I still think it's probably undervalued. And I was looking for sales of those, and I didn't really see it. And there was I don't remember which issue. One of the Star Wars Insiders that had like the Sabine
Sabine Wren.
Wren
Yeah.
on the cover, and I don't remember which issue it was. It was like 150 or 155 or something, somewhere in that range or something like that. There were no sales of that at all. It's an expensive book, but there were no sales. Um, I just think the magazine size just it just throws people off or something. I think it's just because we cannot. Oh, there's a Star Wars Rebels cartoon cover of this. Oh, okay. But I do think that I think that Rebels one book is
The 1 in 10, I
probably
imagine, is what he's talking about that has Kanan on it as the Rebels version.
oh yeah. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. But I was like talking about like the Rebels magazine.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I,
That's a
I
tough
think
book.
I think it's not only tough, but I think it's probably undervalued. But it's just it fits that weird thing to where there's so many comic collectors that just won't buy oversized
Right.
books for whatever
Yeah.
reason. They don't fit in their boxes, and they just don't want to mess with it.
They don't want to store it, invest in something, and then they're not storing it correctly and gets
Yeah,
irritable. Next thing you know, when it's time to move it, it's got problems.
yeah.
No.
Yeah, this is the book right here for people that don't know. A lot of people say this is the real first appearance. The Rebels, Star Wars Rebels magazine issue number 1. So, and then there's a variant for this, I want to say, right? Isn't there a variant for this too, if I'm not mistaken?
There might be.
Or a British version or something like that. Shout out to not only our own solo Wookiee, but another great Wookiee, that being Drunk Wookiee. He has a great webpage and does great stuff on IG. We're going to be having him come on the Saturday show sometime soon, maybe next week. So we'll see how that plays out. We'll grill him on a lot of this stuff. It's fun to talk about Star Wars with somebody that's really, really in the know. I like to think that I'm in the know, but compared to some of these guys, man, I need some learning. So, Coco says, magazines are not comics. I agree, but they're just as cool, especially to collect. All right, how much was this selling for?
9/8 are back up to 250 to 300 on this.
Okay, all right. Top 3 coming at you, you guys. Hit that sub button if you're not subscribed. Hit that thumbs up. We got 242 live. At number 3, here we go. Kanan number 6. Last Padawan, Kanan number 6. We've got first full of Ezra, Sabine, and Hera, and Chopper in this one. So,
Yep. Again, I'm not an expert. Which is number 1? What's the first actual appearance? I don't know. It's one of these things that's super confusing, like super confusing. But it seems like for the most part, most people are paying more for the number 6. 9/8 of this are back to 450 to 500, so it's about about 70% more than the number 1. Yeah, I mean, it's just again, I'm just surprised that these went up at all, because they shouldn't have. This should be no surprise to anybody. I mean, this was clearly coming. I mean, like for what, like 2 years?
yeah.
We've known that this was
Yeah.
coming,
Yeah.
so it's not a surprise at all. But again, comic collectors, our memory, our attention span, I mean, literally changes within like days. I mean, like, everything was 2 days. Earlier in the week was all Blue Beetle, and like instantly it changed to uh, Star Wars. I mean, like in a snap of fingers, it changed so fast.
Yeah.
But
Well, I think that's the type of society we live in nowadays. Is everything is on to the next one, on to the next one, on to the next one. So, but that's why we love collecting, and that's why collectors love to be completists at the same time. Very, very cool stuff. But how much is it selling for?
9/8 of this one are back to $450 to $500.
Nice. Very
Yep.
cool. All right, at number 2, you guys, the second Blue Beetle book on the list. This is the Blue Beetle issue number 1 from March of 2006. The first solo series of Jaime Reyes and Infinite Crisis tie-in.
Yeah, this one kind of surprised me, to be honest.
Me too, big time.
I don't know. I mean, I know these number ones of these characters do well, but I mean, this is basically selling for almost as much as the Infinite Crisis 9/8. I mean 9/8s of this are 200 plus now. I mean, this was like less than $100 book, and third prints are $250 for this. So the third print's kind of cool. It's kind of a cool cover.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's actually pretty interesting cover, but still, I mean, the fact that this is not the first Blue Beetle. First solo series. Okay.
Right.
But is that as much as a first appearance? I don't think so, but it's pretty close, apparently.
Yeah.
I want to take a quick look at the other prints. We're going to go check in at our one of our favorite comic book tools on the internet, that being Cover Price. Make sure to go check out Cover Price, you guys. We use Cover Price for a lot of our fact-finding information on this show and every show that I do. Great stuff over there. All right, let's take a look here. Here is issue number 1 on Cover Price. And let's take a look at those other variants of this issue. This is the second print cover right there, black and white. But the third print,
Color
I agree.
slash.
Yeah, I really like the third print too.
Yeah,
It's an
me too.
early design variant.
Hell yeah.
I wonder if that's like one of the first, if not the first. Did this come out? This came out before Edge of Spider-Verse 2, right?
This is 06.
So
this is way before Edge of Spider-Verse.
This might be like the first design variant. That's a great question. Does anybody know if this is the first design variant out there? I think this might be it. And if it is, this is a great book to be on the lookout for. I'm glad you guys brought that up. Very, very cool.
Yeah, I like that one.
All right, you guys. Let's move on to the top book of the week.
This one is going to be a shocker.
Yeah, I bet you none of you guys.
You guys will not guess this one in a million years.
No chance. At number 1, Spider-Man issue number 7. This book is selling for ridiculous prices. I saw $25 to $45. I saw Wanted Comics selling these at $40 to $45 on Whatnot, like this, just gone. And there are so many of these out there, you guys.
Holy cow. The number of these things that have sold is just insane. How many of these, just page after page of these things have sold. And, look, if they can't figure out how to make Silk a good spider character and be important, there is no way that Spider Boy with 4 eyes or 6 eyes or whatever he's got is gonna be a thing, right?
Well, I have a feeling that when we read his origin, he's going to be tied into the Savage Land Spider-Man because of the multiple eyes. But I mean, there was some weird stuff that Dan Slott wrote. We covered it on MCM on Wednesday on his IG, and he retweeted on his Twitter, or quote tweeted it. But long story short, he was saying that, and it also says in the guts, he's pumping it as this character's been here the entire time in the 616. Like, we're talking, he didn't say Amazing Spider-Man Volume 1 kind of stuff, but he made it sound like it. Like there's going to be some retconning coming around and some retcon a la reveal. yeah, I mean, this is interesting. I want to see how this plays out, but when he's saying that this character with Spider Boy's been here all along, and I'm interested to see what's going to happen here. It's a cool looking character.
Well, somebody just say they have a hot take that it's. What did I see in the comments?
It's going to be the May Park. That's going to be the May Parker. What did he say? Something about May Parker.
Oh yeah,
I have
yeah.
a hot take. Spider Boy could be May Parker. It's Dan Slott. I listen. I know Dan Slott is a big reason that a lot of those Spider-Verse characters are there. I'm not a fan of Dan Slott. I think Dan Slott has ruined a lot of comics, man. Don't get me wrong. He's done some good stuff. I'm not saying he hasn't. I love Superior Spider-Man. That's one of my all-time favorite series. I loved it. But for the most part, Dan Slott has ruined a lot of comics for me, man. I'm not a big fan of him. But, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Oh, hey, High Voltage Mark is that's about dead on point. Someone will call this a cameo when his next book drops. That's about what people do. Like, oh, this is just a cameo, even though he's on the cover and in 48
second
pages.
Print, yeah, and there's a
second print.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, they've already done a second print. They're doing a 1 in 25 second print. That's going to be massively overordered. I don't know. It just this one just doesn't feel right at all.
Okay.
And I think it feels wrong because of the way Dan Slott was promoting this.
Hyping it, not promoting
Pre-FOC.
Toy Time Studios says it perfectly. It's just stupid. He's hyping his own book, and it's gonna be dipping shortly. So.
Yeah, this one just feels like it doesn't pass the stink test for some reason. I mean, I don't know what it is. I don't have this book.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I don't have. Do I have any of these books? Nope.
Ah.
I don't have any of these books, but yeah, this one just feels. I mean, good on. I will say this: good on everybody that's making some profit on this.
Mm-hmm.
Good on you, Richie. You got 3 copies. I hope you're able to get some money out of them. Good on you guys. This just feels weird to me.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's the fact that he was pumping his own character pre-FOC. We're talking days, almost a week before, on multiple platforms. With how big his following is, it just kind of made me red flag. I ordered 5, so I wouldn't have to be, the
Odd
person
man
left out.
Yeah.
But what about what? So I'm thinking, man, this thing's pumped pre-FOC by this guy. What about and Ben's right. It matters when the character's on the cover. But what about this? What about the other covers? What about the Leo Pardon and the Supeda Man cover? Probably that cover's probably not ordered as much as this spoiler cover and cover A, in my opinion. So yeah. Cool cover though. It's great. It's a cool looking character. You can't. I mean, this is great. It's classic cover art. It's a cool character. I just don't like I just don't like the forecast when he says that I've been here all along and we don't know who the hell it is, unless somebody, like they said in one of our live subscribers in the live chat said it's just like a Mayday Parker, or what if it ends up being a Skrull with Secret Invasion coming? Who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Ernie has a question. Says, question is why is the 1 in 100 not going for more than ratio? I think that is a good pickup right now at the ratio.
He's talking about the raw sketch of Doc Ock.
I'm not a fan. Yeah.
So he's not on the cover of the 1 in 100.
No.
Go get the 1 in 25 second print.
Yeah, that's I would say it's the cover. I would assume that would make make sense. Why do I not even see the? Oh yeah, okay. Oh, so the
black and white Doc Ock.
The Alex
timeless
Ross
variant.
One.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm not really. I mean, I love Alex Ross, but I haven't. I've seen all these sketch ones, and I haven't really liked hardly any
I'll
of them.
tell you why. And I've been screaming at the frickin' sky for this. Like, what is that, Rooster or Chicken Little? It's because those were not meant to see up close. Those are murals that he painted on a wall that's meant to be seen far, standing way back and seeing all them together. They aren't meant to be seen up close. And Marvel did him a disservice by doing that. They should have just released connecting cover variants for him and at a smaller size, because if you look at the actual murals that he made of those, they are beautiful, but they are not meant to be seen up close, and that's why they don't look so good on the variants.
I will say this though, he did do one this week that dropped. That is the best one I've seen. I actually really wanted to order it, but I believe it was like a 1 in 100 or somebody. It's for because Captain America. I don't remember what number it dropped this week as well, and he did one of MODOK.
Yeah,
and it looks really cool. It's very detailed, very cool. But I think you're right.
so he'll be doing one for the new Avengers X-Men crossover, where it's all the Avengers that have been an Avenger from the beginning to the first 30 years, and it hopefully that's just going to be a connecting wraparound cover variant rather than up close. It's the same mural style, so we'll see how it plays out. But that being the case, you guys, 234 live till the end. We appreciate you guys. Make sure to hit that sub button, hit that like button. Let us know what you think of the show. If you're catching this on the rewind, drop a comment. Let us know what you think. We are going to send you guys over like normal to our boys over at Drunken Chat Son. Looks like we've got Big Remo, Ninth Wonder, Ultra, Blind Adam, and Lucas over there doing some talking about all kinds of goodies like they do on Drunken Chat every week. And you guys make sure you say hello and that you're showing up from a raid from House of Stein. That being said, make sure to come hang out with us tomorrow night on Modern Comic Mayhem. On Beyond Wednesday, we are going to be having a lot of interesting stuff to talk about. I'm sure we're going to hit back on the Ryan Brown, Charles Soule stuff and all kinds of goodies. Shout out to Chloe's Comic Swag that says, "Awesome show, fellas. Thank you," with a $9.99 super chat. Appreciate you,
Look
brother.
at that. Look at Chloe with the little hat.
I know, dude. I love that.
Hey, by the way, have you guys? Chloe's IG is bomb.
Yeah,
bomb.
Dude. Oh yeah. The best. It is probably my favorite comic book curator on IG. Absolutely love it. Make sure you guys go check him out. And we appreciate you. He says, "Awesome show, fellas. Thank you." So good stuff, you guys. We'll see you next time. Adios.
See you.